All right, everyone, happy Bulletproof Monday. I want to ask you a question. Have you noticed that something is up with the economy? I don't know if you're watching the stock market like I am, but on Friday, the Dow dropped 500 points. Then we hit another approximate 500 drop today. And whether you're an investor or a business owner, an employee, there's some specific things happening in the economy. And today, in today's live, which I'm actually live from New York, just about to head out to a dinner meeting, I'm going to be talking about some of the things that are going on and the Fed announcement Wednesday, why that impacts all of you, regardless of where you live, what to do about it, and why the wealthy are hustling right now. I know. Just a quick announcement. Next Monday on Christmas Eve, I want to invite you to a virtual Christmas Eve party, and it's going to happen in the morning at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. It's 12 Eastern, depending on where you live. Check it out. I'm going to be talking about 24 habits to adopt in 2019, and imagine if you just picked up 2 habits a month, what would happen for you? 2 habits a month, and you could just be in that place at the end of next year. You could have 24 new habits and just be crushing it. I want to give some shouts out to some special people super quick. I know people who do lives, they're like, I don't like when people give shouts out to people, but you know what? I want to shout out to Bruce Corkhill because he marks this in his calendar every single year. Hey, Ulysses, it's great to see you. Jessica had asked, it's wonderful to be here with all of you. Marion, and yeah, let's get right into the goods. And hey, Rial, it's great to see you from New York. And anyway, let's get started. So as I was mentioning, we saw a big Dow drop today. I was at a course last week learning how to trade options. Back when I was 18 years old, I actually worked in a stock brokerage. Yep, that's right. I worked in a stock brokerage where I was doing manual calculations on compound interest. Can you imagine? So let's say Lee was like, hey, I want to retire, 30 years from now, do a compound interest calculation. So I'd look at all of her holdings in her portfolio and do it manually, if you can only imagine. Okay, that was in ancient times. But I didn't go on to be anyone's broker, but I have always had a fascination about the markets and stocks. And maybe it's because I'm in New York, but I scheduled this time so I could be here with all of you. So I just want to get right down to it. The wealthy have been hustling for well over 6 months. And it's fascinating because you can learn a lot from what the uber wealthy are doing and you can replicate it. And you may be like, Susan, I'm not super wealthy yet. And I'm like, my sweethearts, you know what? You have to think it before it happens and act as if. And I don't mean fake it until you make it, but let's take a look at some of the things the wealthy are doing. So first and foremost, they're putting their houses on the market. In fact, in Silicon Valley, people have been putting their houses on the market like crazy. Now, it doesn't mean they're getting that asking price. And in fact, I think it's 70% of all asking prices have gone down. But people in a certain high tax bracket are all putting their houses on the market. Why, you may ask? Because with a pending recession, I've been saying for weeks, I think we're already in it. And Jeffrey Gulak today, he had an hour-long interview on CNBC. I was flying from Phoenix to New York, and I watched CNBC for 5 hours. I know it was like, I don't know, I can't even tell you, but and I was taking notes, and he was saying, listen, we are in a bear market, and if you take a look at any of the things the big financial players are saying, Ray Dalio, Jim Rogers, they're all saying the same thing. We're not only in a bear market, we're on a cusp of recession, and one of the things that begins to happen is people in the higher tax brackets begin to put their houses on the market because they're hoping that someone's going to buy their house. They're going to take the equity out. Maybe they're going to rent. They're going to just suck it up for a bit and then go back and even buy their same house for less money. Doesn't that make sense? They're also hustling like crazy. So I have a girlfriend, and our kids play soccer together. She and her husband recently just launched 2 more businesses. I have other friends. They're joining network marketing companies and their household incomes are well over $250,000. You can hear the police outside. They're joining network marketing companies. They're starting side hustles. People are working like crazy. And in fact, I haven't seen this level of people working their tails off in a certain tax bracket since prior to the last recession. Now, the last recession, subprime mortgage crisis, there was $1.3 trillion in debt in the subprime mortgage. Come closer. Let me tell you a secret. there's 1.5 trillion in student loan debt right now. 1.5 trillion. So it could be student loan debt that topples us. It could be a China-US trade crisis. It could be, no end of things. And the reality is we have a bigger deficit than we ever have had in history. And on Wednesday, the Fed, who is more than likely to raise rates, and I pray to God that they don't, should they raise rates, people are saying the stock market's going to go down again. And the reality is this period of time in history has never been had before. We've never seen the Fed raising rates when we have the economy running at such a massive deficit. So I don't care where you live or what your political leanings are. You come here every Monday because you own a business of some sort. Maybe you own a couple. I don't know. But here's what I want to tell you. Now is the time to hustle. So on these Bulletproof Mondays, and hi Dad, my dad always watches. My dad's name is Joe. You can all give him some love because I called him up. It was last Friday night and I'm driving home from this options trading course. And I said, Dad, I just want to call you and thank you for instilling an amazing work ethic in me, not being too humble to do whatever it takes to make sure my family's provided for. If I have to work at Denny's, I will do it. I have no ego around it. Wayne Dyer taught me this. He's like, Susan, ego stands for edging God out. That's why, despite my critics, hey Johnny, aloha, I've had a very successful network marketing business for 15 and a half years. I'm one of those unicorn people. I've helped develop 38 millionaires in that business. We're going to see, here are some of my predictions. We're going to see a resurgence in network marketing as we go into recession. During the last recession, we saw in America alone, 1 million people join network marketing in a year. I don't care. I know there are physicians, attorneys, engineers, PhDs joining network marketing all the time. You may be like, why would they join that? Because they're smart people. And if you understand compounding interest, you can understand the geometric progression of numbers. And you understand, especially if you have a product that is consumable, especially in network marketing, people have to eat. So if you have something that's consumable, there can be some great rewards as a side hustle. And the reality is building a network, and with the ROI of that, it's a lot more robust than, say, driving for Uber or something like that. So you're going to start to see that. You are going to start to see people who have jobs take on side consulting gigs. Now, I have been up since about 3 a.m. So if I'm enunciating, I'm not even and all I've eaten today is a protein bar. So I just want to put that out there. I landed in New York. I went straight to the gym and just, got dressed up to go out for this dinner that I'm about to leave for. So you're seeing some of the wealthier people, they've got jobs, but they're taking side consulting gigs because they want to bring in money. Why? If the Fed raises interest rates, and this is a lot of ifs here, if they raise interest rates and then we start to see a bigger economic downturn, and we can say, oh, the jobs are great and everything. Well, GM laid off thousands of people. Verizon laid off thousands of people. I'm sorry, my friends, they're not going to be the first. And after this holiday season, I can foresee some of the big retailers will lay off more people. So no, if you have a job, be nice to your boss. Your boss may be an idiot. Be nice to them, because I'll tell you something. During the last recession, I was running through the airport in Hong Kong and I get this call, and it's Forbes magazine. They said, hey, Susan, can you give a quote? Because what was happening in the last recession is that a lot of women, their jobs were being saved, but the men were getting laid off. And suddenly we were in this situation where you had women as the primary income earners in the house. And a lot of the times women were being kept in the workplaces because some studies showed there was more harmony. They were more willing to do jobs, that were outside of their job description. And frankly, girls, it's because we still get paid less on the dollar, right? But it doesn't matter why. All I'm saying is, if we're headed into another recession, if you have a job, be nice to your boss and do a side hustle. The wealthy are side hustling. I have not seen this in well over a decade. If you look at the charts, we are coming into a big downturn, and don't put your head in the sand. I put some notes on here. if you have the opportunity to be in a side hustle that involves a consumable, that means something people can physically eat, or doing something that involves housing, maybe you've got a property and you have rental tenants, that could be a great thing. By all means, take a look at the last recession, learn from the past. What is it that people were still doing even during the recession? They were still eating, they had to have a place to live, they're still getting gas, especially if they have jobs. And even, do you want to know how many side hustles I have right now? Because people say to me all the time, hey, Ivy, they're like, oh, Susan, I couldn't do what you do. And I'm like, I just do it. I don't think about it. I don't get overwhelmed. Overwhelm is an overwhelming word. So right now I'm in New York because I'm here for Radius, the AI company that I'm the chief communications officer of. We're meeting with an investor who could fund our Series A. So that's where we're at right now. Then tomorrow I'm going to hang out with my friend Brandon Steiner. Brandon, New York icon. He made $60 million selling dirt from Yankee Stadium. He and I are going to do a podcast show. We're going to do a Facebook Live. I'll post all the pictures here. You check it out. And, I'm, again, building the relationships. That's the other tip I want to give you is build your relationships. This is not the year to not send the Christmas cards or to reach out and connect with people or do those things. Be creative. You don't have to spend a ton of money, but build your relationships. I'll tell you that, people who think they've got this whole thing dialed in, at the end of the day, you need your relationships. And so don't be that person who doesn't treat people well. If you've been thinking, if you're only thinking about yourself, this is going to be a really tough recession for you. But if you're that person who thinks about others, before I got on the plane this morning, I was up at 4 a.m. I was texting just a few people. I'm thinking of you. I'm sending you a big hug. And people know they get random texts from me without an agenda. Be that person. Develop your relationships. The other thing I want to say is save more freaking money. I cannot emphasize that enough. Duchess Kate, who's married to Prince William, she recycles her outfits. You can do it too. You can't see it. I have this dress on tonight. It's probably about 5 years old. I have a pair of shoes on. They're beautiful. They're about 5 years old. Because this year I saw it coming. I just started cutting down on expenses. So just think about that. And you might be saying, Susan, well, I can hardly save money now. Make your emergency fund a flipping priority. I cannot emphasize that enough. If you don't have at least 3 months of rent or mortgage in the bank, it has got to be a priority, because if what the economists are saying is true, and I'm not saying all economists, but a lot of them, if what they're saying is true, and this is going to be worse than the last recession, do you know during the last recession, about $327 extra per month would have saved 50% of the foreclosures in America. $327. Are you kidding me? And so if you have that ability to be able to help people and to reach out, this is not the time to nap. This is not the time to just, sit in the lotus position for 12 hours a day. This is the time to hustle. And that is what I want to say. And, the other thing, the last thing that I also want to emphasize is this, that, looking at the economy, looking at the markets, looking at the downtrend, all of it, there is opportunity there. Be that person who's smart with your money. Look at your business expenses. If you can write something off and you can use it to monetize, to get your message out. Social media is going to get ugly too. I have my next blog article that's coming out, are social media trends 2019. I have Dennis Yu, who's one of the smartest people I know. He consults to this company where you're watching this, and my friend Marcus Murphy consults to LinkedIn. They sent me quotes from my article, and even for myself, as I mentioned, I'm CCO of Radius. I've got my network marketing business. I have my personal business. I have my digital marketing agency to help entrepreneurs. And I have a really awesome project that's going to be able to help a lot of people next year. And, for basically $47 a month, people are going to get to work with me digitally in a membership, whether they're using the CRM systems we recommend or not. So we're going to teach them how to grow their brands, grow their businesses. It's going to be awesome. And my friend was like, you should charge $25,000 a year for a mastermind. I'm like, no, I'm going to charge $47 a month. I'm going to help a lot of people survive this storm. So with that, I am gonna head out into the New York night. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I read every single one of your comments, your takeaways, and I know this message is direct. I know it is very direct. And I guess the final thing I do want to say is this: it's never too late. It's never too late to grow your income. It's never too late to save more money. It's never too late to just be a good person, especially if you've not been a good person. Finish this year making amends. If you've been a bit of a jerk to someone, you don't necessarily have to have a big clearing conversation or whatever, but just reach out, say, hey, I'm thinking of you. No, I appreciate you in my life. Just move on. Finish this year strong. 2019, for people who have the right mindset, the right work ethic, and who are going to hustle, it's going to be an amazing year, and I'm super excited. So with that, God bless. Mark the calendar. Bring your friends. Next Monday, we're going to have the holiday party right here on Facebook as I go through 24 habits to just help you become bulletproof in 2019. God bless everybody.